Finally.
Rudimentary. Your every move has been foreseen by the Omniscia. Xuan, Divination Commission. I'll be taking the criminal from here.
Xuan, our first ever quantum preservation character, and today we are going to talk about her skill, talent, ultimate, technique, team build, and relics, and whether you should summon for her or not, and let me know your opinion about it in the comments section below. Now before we start, don't forget to subscribe my channel if you haven't already to stay notified with everything new about Honkai Star Rail, and if you enjoyed the video, make sure to hit that like button and share the video with your friends. And without any further ado, let's just get started. So first of all, her skill. Known by stars, shown by hearts. It applies and activates a Matrix of Prescience on all allies. This matrix allows her to absorb some of the damage dealt on her allies, and since she is a tank, she is going to receive even less of that damage, which means less overall damage to your team and higher survivability in hard difficulty content. Not only that, but she also applies knowledge effects on allies, which increases their critical rate and max HP. Now we don't know what the multipliers or the percentages are going to be, but since she is going to increase both the max HP and the critical rate, that means that she is going to be very good for survivability because of the HP and for damage dealing because of the critical rate, and that is extremely useful. So not only is she going to be a tank who defend by being tanky, she is going to make the entire team tankier and also increase their critical rate, which is going to make them hit even harder, which is going to be very useful. This is actually a very impressive skill in my opinion. So simply put, she increases the damage dealt by allies while also reduces their damage received and increase their HP. That is extremely good skill actually. Now moving on to her talent. Her talent reduces the damage received by allies, and when her HP drops actually below a certain threshold, she recovers HP. Now once again, we don't have any multipliers or any percentages, and we don't know what that threshold is going to be. But this is going to make her even better actually for survivability, because she is going to recover HP immediately without needing actually a healer, and she is going to further reduce the damage received by allies, which is extremely useful once again for survivability. So she is going to be a pretty great character to have on your team, not only because she herself is a tank that is going to tank the damage, but also because she is going to make your whole team tankier and harder to kill, and that is extremely useful. Now moving on to her ultimate. The ultimate deals damage to all enemies, and we don't know yet how much that damage is going to be, but in case it is high enough, we might actually change the relics that we are going to decide for her later, but for now we don't know how much that damage is going to be, but it is going to be on all enemies. And she is also going to increase her talent's health restoration, which is extremely useful once again. So you want to use her ultimate as soon as you can, so that once actually you proc that health restoration with the talent, she recovers much more than what she would have recovered without the ultimate. Now how hard or how easy it is going to be to proc her ultimate, I don't know, we will have to wait and see. But you want to ideally try to actually use her ultimate before proccing the health restoration, because that is going to make the health restoration much better. Unless her health restoration can be procced multiple times during the same battle, maybe every 2 turns or every 3 turns, maybe there is some type of cooldown on it, and once the cooldown is over you can proc it once again. In that case you don't have to rush your ultimate, but if it is only once per battle, then I think that you will have to actually rush your ultimate before you proc that health restoration. Now moving on to her technique. Her technique allows her to create a barrier around you, and that barrier actually prevents the enemies from attacking you or ambushing you. They can attack you, but they can't ambush you. You won't enter the battle, which is a pretty interesting actually ability, because the only character right now that can prevent enemies from ambushing her is Seele, and that is by hiding. The enemies can't even see her actually behind them or between them or wherever she is, and that's basically how you prevent your enemies from attacking you with Seele. However, with Xuan, you can literally stand beside them and they will attack you and they can't enter the battle, because you are actually preventing them from doing that by using your armor or barrier, which is actually a pretty crazy thing to see, and I really like it. It makes her unique and I really like it a lot. Now, not only that, but also when you use her technique and you enter the battle, you are going to actually enter the battle with both the matrix and the knowledge activated on your allies. Which means that you immediately enter the battle with her skill activated, and therefore you don't need to use your skill for a set period of turns. As I said before, we still don't have that amount of times or turns. We will have to wait and see until we get her traces, but for a set period of turns you aren't going to be needing actually to use her skill, which is going to help you with the skill point management, and that is going to be very useful for your team, especially if you have a character like Seele who is extremely skill point hungry. So in case you have Seele, you are going to be in a better situation if you enter actually the battle with Xuan's technique. Now moving on to her team build, I believe that Xuan as a character is going to be perfect on any team you use her on, because of the fact that she brings everything you want actually from a preservation character for your team, and she also has something extra as well. She not only brings higher survivability, which is expected from a preservation character, but she also brings higher critical rate, which is going to be an extra for her, which is going to be very good for your team, because it will allow it not only to survive but also deal higher damage. So I think that whichever team you use her on, actually she is going to be very good. However, there is one team that I think is going to be the absolute best for her, and that is the mono quantum type team. And that team is going to consist of Lynx, which is going to be the healer, and she is going to be actually on the same banner as Xuan, so you might pull her during the process of pulling for Xuan. And then the debuffer is going to be actually Silver Wolf. Since you are going to use a mono quantum type team, her weakness break is going to always be quantum 100%, and that is going to help you to even break the opponent's or the enemy's toughness way faster and easier. And she is going to also break their defense, their speed, and their attack, which is going to help you to survive and deal more damage on the opponent, which is going to be further buff for your team. Then you have your main damage dealer, which is going to be Seele, and then last but not least, your tank is going to be basically Xuan, who is going to be the absolute best tank you can ever have on your team. I think from what we have right now, it seems that she is going to be the absolute best tank you can have on your team, but we will have to wait and see, as I said before, for the multipliers, for the percentages, and for how long her buffs and debuffs actually stays, and then we will be able to judge whether she is the best tank or not. Anyways, now moving on to her relics, I think that there are two relics that are extremely useful for her. The first one is actually going to be the quantum set for the ultimate damage, but as I said before, we will have to wait and see whether her damage is going to be high enough or not. And then the second one is the guard set, which is going to bring actually higher survivability for her, which is going in turn to bring higher survivability for the entire team, because as we said before, she is going to absorb some of the damage that the allies are actually receiving, while also reducing the damage received by allies. So her being on the team is always going to bring higher survivability for the entire team, and higher survivability for her herself is going to in turn lead to a higher survivability for the entire team as well. So in my opinion, these two sets are going to be the best for her, the Quantum set and the Guard set, but as I said before, we will have to wait and see her multipliers, her percentages, what she scales on. Maybe she scales on HP, or she scales on defense, or she scales on attack. So we will have to wait and see that before we actually can 100% grant which set is going to be the best for her. But for now, from her typing and from her abilities, it seems that the Quantum set and the Guard set are going to be the best for her. Anyways, this is pretty much everything that I wanted to talk about. In my opinion, I think that she does deserve summoning 4, and I think that she is going to be better than inbibitor lunae. We will have to wait and see. It depends on how much damage inbibitor lunae is going to deal and how he works, but I think that she might be a little bit more useful actually than inbibitor lunae, due to the fact that she has an extremely useful team that is just perfect. It's just too perfect actually. Like seriously, you have Lynx as the healer, you have Silverwolf as the debuffer, you have Seele as the damage dealer, and you have Xuan as the tank. They are just made for each other. You can't actually tell me anything else. They are just made for each other, and since the whole team is going to be Quantum type, you don't have to even worry about Silverwolf. She is always going to do what you want her to do, and that is just perfect. So I think that Xuan is going to be extremely useful. And as I said before, not only on this team but also on any other team that you use her on, she is going to bring everything that you want from a preservation character. So if you don't have a good preservation character until now, she might be actually a perfect choice for you. Anyways, this is my opinion about it, so let me know your opinion about it in the comments section below, and I hope that you enjoyed the video, and if you did, please give it a thumbs up and share it with your friends so that they can enjoy it too. And if you got any useful information from this video, or if you enjoyed it, make sure to subscribe my channel and turn on the notification bell beside it to stay notified with everything new about Honkai Star Rail. And with that being said, see you as always in the next video of Honkai Star Rail.